I know you're a huge jam band fan.
Yeah.
And jam bands are all about improvisation and not following the formula.
Yeah.
How does that relate to dentistry?
That's interesting. Just like anything else in life, sometimes stuff goes sideways, so you have to improvise on the fly. That's why experience counts. Because if, let's just say you have a tooth that like you thought was going to be an easy thing to take care of, and all of a sudden you go in there and it's a mess. Sometimes you can't see things on x-rays because the x-rays aren't as strong as they used to be. Then you have to say, okay, Houston, we have a problem. You say it to yourself, of course. And how do you fix the problem? So that's where I think that the parallel lies.
I know that you actually play in a band. You're a Zydeco player.
Yeah.
And you're on stage. You're performing. And in a way, the work you're doing, you're on stage, you're performing. Because your patient is there and you're the artist.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes. So the story about the Zydeco thing is there used to be a bar here in Atlanta called Blues Harbor. And I just happened to meet these guys that were in town. They were in the Big Easy. And we were just talking about that. And I used to live in New Orleans and a huge New Orleans fan. That's why you see all these pictures here. And they said, oh, you're a dentist? Hey, we need a dentist. So I became their dentist. And then as a way of a token of appreciation, they brought me a washboard.
Nice.
And it took a while. I think I have rhythm, but I wish I had been a drummer early on because then learning to play washboard was a lot easier. But getting in front of people that early made it easier so I get in front of people when I teach. So if I can play in front of 20,000 people at Jazz Fest and playing with some of the most world-class players in the world on that music, I can probably talk to a few hundred dentists. So that's a lot of fun. I think one of the beauties of doing dentistry is I don't have to perform for a crowd. I perform for my patients. And it's a one-on-one relationship that I have with them. And thankfully, I have my band here to take care of things. But I hate to say it, it's no ego involved. I'm the star of the show. That's why people come to see me. And I just am very attentive to their needs. And I train my assistants. That is like the gig here. It's like you got to be attentive to the dentistry we're doing, but also we spoil our patients. It's like we give them neck pillows, we give them headphones. If they don't like the volume, they want to turn it up, fine. If they want gas, turn it up if they need it to do it. We want them to have a really pleasant experience because some people want to forget they're at the dentist because of all the bad fears that they've had. So we're performing, and I want them to just basically, a lot of the time, just disconnect from what we're doing. But there are times where I'll check on and say, how are we doing? They'll give me a thumbs up. I don't want them to shake their head, of course. Or they give me a thumbs down. We'll stop, take a time out, and find out what's going on. It's a very concierge level experience for people, which, I hear this from a lot of people. They don't get that. Right. They feel like they're just a number. And unfortunately, that's becoming a very common thing, not just in dentistry, in medicine, and even in the restaurant business, too. So it's fun. I really enjoy it. There's such a thrill of accomplishing things. I love doing things with my hands. Unlike when I told you my mom said I was so destructive, I rebuild things a lot. That's what I do every day, and that's where I get that juice. That's why I know I'm having a really good day. I'm in that flow. And then at the end, I just like stare at this, or I take pictures of it, and it's like, oh my God, I created that.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
I'm very lucky to do what I do.
And you're lucky that you've got the passion for music as well, because you've got something going on in your private life that you're bringing, because here we're in your office, but we see elements of music all over the place.
Yes.
And so your personal passions help to bring forward your passion for dentistry, as I see it.
Yes. And sometimes the rhythm can get a little too slow for people because I got a challenging situation. But when I let them know, they go, wow. I had a woman last week, she says, because Priscilla said that when I left the room, this was a really challenging situation. And she said, you're lucky he saved your teeth. And I come back, they're like, thank you so much for doing that for me. Because some people, they're used to losing their teeth.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go through that anymore. It's the gerbil wheel of dentistry that my mom used to call it. They don't want to be on that. They want to get off the gerbil wheel and they want to move forward instead of just walking in circles.